Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Monday. It's June 10th, 2024. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I hope this week is off to a powerful start. I'm having some technical difficulties over here where I am, just minor technical difficulties. The internet, something's going on with Xfinity around my neck of the woods. So I am recording this. I actually have a tech appointment tomorrow. So, because apparently, I guess it wasn't something they could fix outside. I don't know. But either way, I'm recording this now on the 10th, but there's a slight chance that it may not get posted until tomorrow. So in that event, if it is June 11th, then you can look forward to two messages in perfect form for the number 11 anyway, right? So yeah, but we'll see. I have my fingers crossed that, maybe by end of the workday they'll figure something out there where they're working. But if not, I should be back up to my regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. And in that event, I'll just post as soon as I can and then do my normal 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so of no consequence now in this moment, let's just get to the message. All right. The 8 of Cups, walking away from something or walking away, pulling out from an investment. Ooh. Some activity, moving away from some activity. It's the Magician card. Hold on, let's see what we got here. Okay, all right. It's not looking too bleak. We got the Ace of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Sun. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So we got the Page of Wands, the 5 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Wands. I was looking at that Magician like, why would a magician be walking away from his manifestations unless they're unfavorable? And in this case, it could be somebody investing a great deal of, and this cup is most exposed here. Yeah. Somebody could have been doing some love magic or projecting some emotional manipulation, spiritual manipulation that they had to ultimately abandon, or it's like somebody was doing a lot with the 8 of Cups, whatever it was, whether this was manifestation on a higher frequency with the Sun card here, or if the Sun is just the point of exposure of what may have not been such a high frequency. And with the Queen of Pentacles, that's an implication of intuition, emotional intelligence. So where there may have been an intention to glamorize a Queen of Cups for some type of material gain or financial gain or win, somebody's been exposed for their efforts and has had or has had to abandon it. And start over here with the Page of Wands. But the start over, though, looks a bit bleak. That's the thing. If this is the walk away to start over with the Page of Wands, it should be a good fresh start. But going into the Five of Wands, yeah, because it's the backfire. Yeah, of here's the plan here. And there's the moon. So there's that. All of this energy here. Somebody was activated in an obscure objective. Again, doing some things that were out of order, or at least out of divine alignment, which is why they ended up abandoning their efforts or intentions, or having no choice but to do so one way or another. And then here's the moon, which is the very opposite of the sun, of course. Hold on, let me see. Here, this is the plan of action with the Two of Wands, of energy that was projected but now is returning. And returning, it's like a magnified return, like a more than what was sent, unfortunately. But it's probably due to the frequency of which someone did one thing. Okay, this is with the cup energy, where somebody may have done one thing but done it exuberantly, like 8 times, or over 8 months or 8 years. It feels like a long time, not so much like, I wouldn't even say 8 weeks, maybe, but that seems too short of, this is something that has compounded with interest, like for every spell or negative projection or incantation, whatever, like whatever, for every one that somebody did, it was like compounded interest onto the backfire, which, well, maybe and maybe not, because this is an 8 and this is an 8, but something, I think this is what it is. It's like what they sent out came back in a more, maybe in a more intensified form, because the cups are more emotional, and it's water, so it's fluid, it's a little bit more vulnerable to manipulation. But the wands are like direct hits. It's like each one of these wands has a coordinate attached to it. Water, you might spill a little bit along the way, or I don't know, it just seems something that, which to that point is probably why somebody had to abandon their efforts to some degree, because something about it wasn't solid. It's either like somebody was doing some stuff that it was like high risk and much more delicate, maybe even a bit sophisticated, that somebody was taking on. There's something to be said about the stark difference between the cups here and so much wand energy here. like I said, the wand energy is like direct hits. It's like kinetic energy, maybe even an electrical charge. Maybe it's just the sheer fact that what was expelled was no match for what was bound to be magnetized in return. It's like somebody put out way more energy than they were prepared to. That's what it is. Somebody was playing with some stuff, you know, and they, for all intents and purposes, may have had some success in their an impact and an outcome to some degree, and either that compelled them to continue to, you know, become hyperactive, or someone became hyperactive because it could be a number of reasons why somebody became hyperactive, but it could even be because they weren't seeing the results right away, or they were seeing results and became excited about how they could accelerate or magnify that return in results, or that there was a third one, that they weren't seeing results, they were seeing results and they wanted more, or the results were happening in such a mild manner that they felt like, you know, it's kind of like when you take a painkiller, right? No, I don't know why I'm getting this one. It's far more interesting, so I'm going to use this example. It's like when you take an edible, right? And particularly if you don't really know like your tolerance, you don't really do edibles, you don't, you know, like if you know for sure. If you don't know, then this may go over your head a little bit. But it's like if you take like an herbal edible, right? A brownie, a cookie, a candy, whatever. And at first, there's, you know, you take it, you wait a little while, there's really not much of an effect, right? So you're like, damn, I should be feeling something by now. Say you got a brownie, you eat half of it. They always tell you to eat half and wait, because 9 times out of 10, it's particularly if you're used to smoking, you're used to an immediate effect. So the impact that you have, the reaction that you have when you digest, it happens slower, but it lingers much longer. So you eat that half a brownie, maybe 15 minutes or so later, you feel like, I don't feel nothing. I want to feel something. So you eat the other half. And lo and behold, 15 to 30 minutes later, you are losing your mind. You're higher than you've ever been, and you have no control over the come down, because once that substance is in your system, in your digestive system, it has to run its course. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to sober up. There's no way to flush it out. Man, maybe you could drink some water, but if you push yourself to the limit, to it past a certain degree, you'll feel, that's when usually people get super paranoid. It can happen by smoking too, but usually edibles are the thing, because the high is different from you smoking and, you know, ingesting than from when you're eating it and it's in your bloodstream. It's flowing through your body. You're feeling the sensation through every part of your body. That's a completely different experience than puff, puff, and pass, okay? So it's something like that here, where somebody It's like they tried something, maybe they were experimenting, maybe they knew what they were doing, or maybe they had their own brand of magic, right? And so they did something, but it was like, I don't see any results. Like, I should be seeing something by now. Something should be happening. What's going on? And so then they do another thing. Still nothing. Now, or not, or at least not, you may feel a little buzz, but not what you thought. And then it's like, all right, I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna do another spell. I'm gonna do another incantation. I'm gonna, I don't know, with water, I almost said water magic. So whatever that amounts to, that's what it could be. But I always equate water magic with emotions, even if there is some, some actual physical water elements that somebody's working with. Either way, the point is that somebody was either dabbling in something that they really weren't so well versed in as they thought, or they were too impatient or over ambitious to do too much, and then when it backfired, they weren't quite prepared for the magnitude of the energy to return in the form that it did, because it's the difference between water and fire here, between the cups and the Eight of Wands. Yeah. I feel like there's more I could say on that. We'll see. I don't want to forget this Five of Wands here. Like, what are they fighting about? Or, it was that the backfire, not only was it the intensity, but it, like I said before, it's like coordinates, like a certain, what's the right word, assignment attached to each of these wands. And maybe someone didn't account for themselves being caught in that crossfire. They had other intentions. And with the sun and moon over this Five of Wands, I'm feeling like they had intentions. It's like almost to like throw somebody else in the crossfire, or for someone else to get caught in the crossfire, and it missed them. But it doesn't seem like they didn't, for some reason, somebody either felt like they were caped or covered enough that the crossfire would miss them or minimally affect them. Maybe not considering that there could possibly be enough, or I don't even know how you could think that. That's why I'm feeling like somebody was doing more than what they had clearance to do, because, or they just outsmarted themselves, because somebody felt like there couldn't possibly be enough energy returned, even, that by their calculations, worst case scenario, they thought it would come back the same way that it's going out, and it would hit whomever they designated or maybe sacrificed in that crosshair to begin with, the light change, as I said that, and or they would be protected, and or whatever remnants, like strays that they might catch, wouldn't be that bad. Like, worst case scenario, maybe they lose some money, maybe they have to start over from scratch, maybe, lose a little steam, a little energy, take, a little slap on the wrist or whatever. But it feels like it's like there's enough to go around where spirit can hit everyone accordingly, and still, it's like nobody's getting away on account of anybody being caught. And it's like having one of those like machine guns, you know, like when those start spraying, they don't miss. And that's the type of energy this Eight of Wands is. Oh, look, I didn't even see this whole time. The Ace of Wands, yeah. Wow. Somebody thought they had an advantage energetically, or they had some advantage of power. Again, that would have either made them invincible or untouchable, or to be able to bounce back easily from any distress or, you know, backlash. And that those that were in the crosshairs, this is right here, this is 7 people. 5 of Pentacles with these 2 here, and then the 5 of Wands with those 5 folks there. That's 7 people right there. So he thought maybe I'll catch a stray, one stray. I can bounce back, I can recover from that. And it's like, no, you getting all these, buddy. Everything, for every cup that you poured out is coming back in fire and brimstone or bullets or something. It's like, damn. What does that mean? From cups to wands. Or somebody had an expectation to be upgraded by this, that could be that they actually saw themselves being advanced or enhanced by way of this sacrifice on a darker frequency. See, the moon is kind of covering up the sun, but the sun's eyes are still showing. They're still piercing over the card if you see it. Quite piercing at that. So it's like somebody tried to, it was some type of concealed ritualistic stuff here that those that may have been affiliated or somehow what's the right word, like, I just get the sense that everybody didn't know what they were really in cahoots with, and that was also part of the secrecy, as the moon is covering the 5 of Wands. Like, some people didn't know that they were even being positioned to be in the crosshairs. There may have been some type of mutual agreement for a power up collectively that everybody had the anticipation for on account of some collusion or collaboration, but one person or an elite few of the many had their own ideas in mind. They had a separate plan with the 2 of Wands, or one had a separate plan of how these energies were ultimately going to be offered up, you know, wagered as a sacrifice for someone to be powered up. And this was the ritual by which they did it, but it's like, it didn't really yield what was anticipated. Probably because of, well, many reasons, obviously. But it feels like due to someone's ignorance. Yeah, with the Page of Wands, like somebody is not quite the skillful master that they deem themselves to be. They're not quite the magician, you know, that they may have a certain brand of magic, but what they were reckoning with, or reckoning with by way of this Ace of Wands, was above their pay grade. Let's put it like that. Yeah. It was above their pay grade. It didn't stop them from doing it anyway, but it seems like they did or will fuck around and find out one way or another what backfire, you know, what it pretty much like they getting a very harsh lesson in sorcery. Like you wanted to play, you wanted to learn, you wanted to dibble and dabble. Well, lesson number 1. Everything that you send out comes back to you. And it's something about the energy of the backfire, though, that I'm sensing. It's like someone may have even thought that there was a certain harmlessness, but not really harmless, because obviously it was meant to have an effect and not a good one, but maybe a certain level of undetectability perhaps in someone's craft. Like I said, even with emotional manipulation in a practical sense, that's something that sometimes you don't even know is happening to you. Sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. That's the other thing. But we're talking about somebody that was very intentional about using their wand for their own intents and purposes. But it can be so subtle at times. That's what it is. It's something about a subtlety here when you think about water versus fire, which is just so pronounced that it can't be, you know, you can't miss it, you know. But something about the subtlety of their craft here that they thought was either something that could go unnoticed, unexposed, or was so subtle, had made so subtle of an impact that it could only warrant, like, if they considered the cost, like, if this comes back to me, then I can handle it, type of thing. Like, imagine doing like a love spell or an obsession spell on someone, and it's like, well, if you're not really an emotional creature, but you just know how to manipulate the energies, you don't really expect, if it were to bounce back, for it to really have an effect on you, because that's not your come from. It's something about that here where somebody thought they were like above the backfire or the backlash, or beyond it in some way. Like they had, like a master over it in some way, like that. I don't care about love. I don't care about, nothing can get to me emotionally. They had certain guards up and certain securities in place that they didn't think that they could possibly got. But what they didn't anticipate is that the energy would come back. Like, the universe is funny that way. Like, it returned to sender, but in a way that could be impressionable to the sender. And I don't even know how that gets to be exactly. I guess quite primitively, it hit them where it hurt. Wherever they hurt someone else, it hit them where they hurt. maybe they aren't so emotionally affected. Maybe they aren't super lovey-dovey. Uh-oh. Hold on. 1 second. Hello? Yes, this is Danae. I'm good, thanks. Yes, because there seems to be some issue with my router. I'm in the middle of something though. Is this going to be a long time, or is this just to confirm tomorrow's appointment? Sure, you can. In the next hour is fine, actually. Yep, that'll work. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. You too. Bye-bye. Sorry. So sorry. I brought my phone in here specifically for the purposes of any particular update, because they've been calling back and forth, but I didn't really expect that call, but I also didn't want to miss it in case, there was some more immediate troubleshooting that could be done, but I'll find out when he calls back again. So please forgive me. Please, please, please. I'm so sorry to interrupt. But yeah, like, okay, so what was I saying? It's something, so basically something came back to hit where it hurts and to hit in the way that someone is most vulnerable to. Is most vulnerable. Yeah. And that's what couldn't be planned or anticipated. But that's just why you don't do silly stuff, because you can't control the reciprocation. You can only know that it absolutely is coming. But to think that, somebody just thought they had all their T's crossed and their I's dotted to know exactly how it was going to come back and exactly how to prepare and exactly how to make themselves immune or, flexible to bounce back, whatever the case may be. They thought everything was foolproof, and it just wasn't. Even the practice itself wasn't, or else they wouldn't be needing to walk away. So now somebody's having to walk away from what didn't yield the results that they were anticipating, and they're having to walk away from they're having to stand actually on the business that they projected, and really just anticipate however this is going to continue. It's like rapid fire. However this is going to, is like spirit emptying out the clip on somebody, like one thing after another, and you thought it was just going to be, I could take that if I got it, but somebody just could have never prepared themselves for this level of blow up in their face. Not to mention, with the Five of Wands, those that they entangled in whatever experience this is are now at odds with them as well, because they didn't anticipate being affected the way that they were, because they were probably misled or kept in the dark about certain aspects of the practice that they were aligning with, not knowing what they were really attaching their energy to, and also misled on what the return and reward would be, the outcome, not to mention completely kept in the dark about what even the potential risks may be for backfire. It's like, no, you good, we good. I got everything covered. I got it taken care of this. look, there's no way this can go wrong. As long as you do your part, I promise you, we all good. And nobody's good. Nobody that is like, people may be ill, they're losing money, they're having to like pick up the pieces back at square one. Not on top of the fact that they're not getting what they were promised, they're losing what they had. They're in conflict and confusion with themselves or with each other. There's a certain obscurity or haze, maybe even a fear, an energy of fear that's widespread because of the uncertainty, because of the obscurity. People don't know how to kind of shake this energy off of them because from some, maybe they didn't even sign up for it, you know, and it's a mess. Let's see what else we got here. Man, I hope when that guy calls back, he's gonna have a different solution for me that doesn't mean I have to wait till tomorrow. But I'm not so sure with this Knight of Pentacles. This is like a slow return on investment here. But the Chariot card is a successful one. So, you know, maybe they took a long time to get it fixed, but I hope maybe there's a victory around the corner nonetheless. I don't know. But anyway, so that's probably a part of it. Some people are having a hard time moving forward or finding leverage over their destitution at this point, or things that they and on top of that, things that they have perhaps been waiting for a return on investing. Like I said, this feels like a long-term quest here that people have been kind of allured and strung along, literally, with the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, it's coming, I got you, you gonna get it, don't worry. We just got somebody just been finessing the whole situation to keep people engaged into something that ultimately was known they were never gonna truly see the benefit of in the way that they were promised. But I'm not even sure if even the Magician, as it stands in this, knew that they would be as disenfranchised as they have become. So I feel like there's even parts of this that are a shock to the facilitator here, the Wizard of Oz. It's like he knew what he was being deceptive about, what he was lying about. But hell, he didn't even calculate his own backlash accurately, let alone to have known how it could truly affect others. But I also don't feel like there was much of a care and consideration for that either. I just also don't think there was an anticipation for what it has become or will become. It's like, I don't think somebody really sat down and was like, oh man, but what if, you know, they didn't care that much. They cared about whatever desirable outcome they were objectifying, but still it's like, damn, I didn't expect for people to lose jobs, lose homes, lose relationships, lose their mind, perhaps lose their life savings, people are losing a lot. And that's why they're up in arms with that Five of Wands, because it's like they want answers. Yeah, look at this, Two of Pentacles. They want answers, they want receipts, they want, they want somebody to pay, literally and figuratively. Yeah, Six of Wands. Victory and success. After the Chariot, like people want a way out of this slump, especially to get to the victory that they were promised to achieve. Oh, the Chariot again? Is that right? How? Wow. Whatever it is proven to be a great feat to overcome. Oh, I know this ain't somebody still. The Knight of Pentacles, the Six of Wands. It's like money is definitely slowed down or is extremely delayed. But the Six of Wands and the Chariot. Let me get another one. Yeah, see. Why does that come up so contradictory though? With the Chariot and the Six of Wands. But here we have the Five of Cups, which is like, may even be worse than the damn Five of Pentacles. Because this is the spirit of despair and hopelessness, which if you don't shake that, your money will never be right, or you could have money and your life still wouldn't be right. It's like a blanket that's over this Five of Wands that's now covered. I should have tried to put it under, but it's like this blanket of despair and depression that people can't, yeah, like I said that too, like they can't shake off. They can't, some people may feel consumed by their emotions now. Oh. Ooh, so hold up. I just felt a chill on that. So remember, the beginning of this was about some type of water magic. So people are feeling the effects of whatever the initial is. Okay, it's intensified for the peanut gallery, so to speak, because what is this? It's something about like the water magic or spells or whatever the ritual was. It's actually hitting the community or coven or congregation or whatever this is. Like there's a group of collusion here, and there's also like some leadership that's facilitating it, whether it's in one person or multiple, but it's represented here by the magician, like, you know, like the wizard, like I said, the one that's facilitating this. And if you remember that scene, like particularly from The Wiz, where the wizard was like calling out, you know, the colors, and everybody would then everything would transform, like the color is gold or the color is red, and all whatever it was, all the masses in the town or the capital, whatever it was, would then now wear that color, and the colors would change. And I don't know if they were actually changing clothes, maybe they were, but it was something about the lights and the reflecting on their outfits, that everything changed according to what the Wiz proclaimed it should be. And it was kind of like kind of spell would I say that is? It was kind of like a glamour magic, where they all thought the wizard had the power to, for whatever reason, they empowered the wizard to be the dictator of whatever the color or the era of the time should be in the first place. And also were almost like what's the word? Like almost not obsessed. What is the word? They were like in a trance, based off whatever the word of the wizard was. Then they almost became in like this entranced and following that frequency. Okay, so people were feeling the emotional manipulation is almost like a possession of sorts. Yeah, like they felt they were like possessed. Like, oh, I wouldn't be caught dead in red, but y'all was just wearing green like 5 minutes ago. So I think it's that people are waking up. They have been slowly but surely to what they were entangled with when they were not in their right mind or not in their clear mind, and they're starting to see the sun behind that illusion. And that's what's causing the people to like lash out and rage out, because the trance that they were in, the possession, whatever it is that they were possessed by, whether it was glamour or somebody that just knows how to talk a good game, or somebody that knew how to manipulate people's emotions and their perspectives and perceptions of things to make it appear as something different. Maybe somebody just outright lied, but they did quite a bit of it to the point where they got people to buy into whatever they were selling, knowing that there would be at some point in time there would be some dissatisfaction with their investment. What that would be maybe was ambiguous, but it's turned out to be much more grave of a reaction than anybody has anticipated. Anybody. Yeah, here's the Six of Wands. Like, people just want to get away from all of this, but they're so stuck. They don't even know what they're still stuck to. That's the thing, because there's still so much illusion and confusion around what is happening to me, what did happen to me, and what is happening now. And somebody's not really in a position to expose the truth to them, because they know it'll be even worse of a backlash, daggers toward them, that they can't even deal with what they're going through now. But then they have to be honest and say, like, you're experiencing this because of X, Y, and Z, is like, it's not even comprehensible at this point. And it's sort of like a every man for himself type of situation, because, we all got free will. So even if there was an illusion or something misleading or deceptive about what you thought you were being engaged with, there's still some responsibility to be tapped into your own discernment to know whether this was a good investment or not. you know, like to be tapped into your emotional intelligence, to feel, you know, to allow those things to speak to you and reveal to you what you may not have had evidence for. So somebody may not have known that somebody was a straight up liar, or that there was something going on behind the scenes or in the underworld or behind the veil. But you probably had physical signs of maybe not feeling well after leaving a group meeting or whatever, not feeling, seeing parts of your livelihood take a hit or your energy deplete on account of your connection with certain associations, feeling outright bad about yourself on account of what you're connected to. All those signs, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Those signs are always there for us humans. We just decide what we're going to tap into or pay attention to, give light to or not. And usually on account of what we think we have a greater gain for, which in this case might have been the Ace of Pentacles promise, you know, anticipation. But there lies the dilemma if you're going to prioritize material wealth over your spiritual health. Nobody gets a pass for that. And it's like, maybe that's what it is in terms of what this person wasn't anticipating, because they thought like, oh well, all's well that ends well, and they knew they should have known better, so they get what they get. But somebody that didn't anticipate that, yeah, they get what they get, but you also get some of what they get and yours too, because you led people to the slaughter. That's what it is. That's this intensity of the backfire. Where somebody would want to absolve themselves of responsibility. Yeah, like, that ain't on me. I ain't put a gun to their head and make them do it. They chose. They wanted to be a part. They saw the value in the investment. They saw the, you know, they wanted a piece of the pie too. It's like, yeah, but who's the facilitator here? You know, like who's running this show? Just like the Wiz had the answer for his deceptions when Dorothy pulled back that curtain. And then I'm sure all the people got, you know, snapped out of their trance like, oh shoot, we've been sitting and prancing around in this in this Capitol, changing colors, changing outfits, doing whatever the empire tells us to, you know, on command, with no thought of our own cognition, you know, with no discernment of our own. Like, do I even like red? Do I even like the color green? I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, and doing what somebody that claims to be of high authority is telling me to do. Like, the snap out is this, you know, the wake up is real. When you start to really see yourself for who you've been, and it looks weird to you. Like, oh shoot, but then sometimes by that time, the damage is already done. And all you can do is start from scratch, pick up the pieces, and try to sort out what's been tainting your psyche. First of all, where you were vulnerable to that manipulation in the first place. Like I said, you people in the Wiz, why did you need somebody to tell you what color was the best to wear? Why are you, you know, like, why did you need that sort of influence or interference to feel worthy, or to feel, you know, not worthy so much, but to feel like you matter? You know, it has a connotation of something that could be personal, although, you know, a stranger than fiction type of material here, or it could be like the bigger picture, of course, of people waking up and snapping out of what they've just been falling in line with for all of their lives, perhaps, and really coming to terms with who they have been conditioned and perhaps even possessed to be. And now coming into a spirit of truth, illuminated by Source, comparing notes like, is this even what I want to do? And the best thing for those folks that are waking up is not to be angry, not to be in fight mode once you start to come into a realization, but to really to go within and start to consider what ways you can address some perhaps deeper psychological issues or challenges that are within your control, because you can never control somebody that means to do harm. Because if they see a mark, they're going to take it. They're going to take the shot every time. The only thing you can do is defend yourself, is block or stay out of the line of fire altogether. Page of Pentacles, yeah, knowing your worth and value now. It's a rediscovery of that. Let me just get one more. Yep, Two of Swords. And blocking everything else out. No, coming to terms with realizing knowing what you don't know. Because this Two of Swords can sometimes be like not having enough information, or feeling ignorant, or even indifferent to some degree. So it could even be exercising some level of indifference to external projections or external threats, and really just centering back into personal accountability. Because for folks that, may be hyperactive now on account of things that have gone wrong that they have committed to, it's not going to do any good to be in that energy at this point. The only thing you could do is just, and that on a general scale or personal scale, or even on a grander scale, like us as human beings waking up to the lies that we've been conditioned by since babies, since we came into this creation in this lifetime. You sometimes you will want to be mad, you want to take revenge or avenge the time lost and the information withheld or the resources corrupted, whatever the case may be. But it's like your energy is much better spent in taking that knowledge, that enlightenment, and advancing yourself forward at this point now, knowing all that you know, knowing what you're capable of, what you're susceptible to, what your limits are, your limitations, or how limitless you are, what your triggers may be, what your traumas potentially were that to get you to a certain point of vulnerability, susceptibility to certain frequencies, like all of that. You just, when you know better, you do better, period. And you don't let no wizard in a skybox that has really no real jurisdiction over your life and has no proven success really over their own in a way that you can truly relate to. It's like people that sit in so-called high places, even as practically speaking as like our world leaders, our governments, they're flawed men and women too. So they're only operating in a certain capacity of which we give them liberty to do so. So it's only to a certain extent, outside of course, the law of the land, and then of course spiritual law, that you adhere to, can you really give someone power over your life to dictate to you what is right, what is acceptable, what is normal, what is fair, what is success, what is not. Like, we're breaking the mold on those containments now. And those that have used those powers of manipulation and affluence and authority to endanger others for their own, to endanger others for their own empowerment or advancement, they're receiving the just deserts of their sowing. So that takes care of itself without you even needing to be but so angry. All you need to do is focus on, is consider how you may have gotten finessed and why, so that will never happen again on any range of this scale. Because it could be people that got roped into something that they had no idea they were a part of, like legitimately didn't know. There's some people that got roped into partial enlightenment about what they were doing, but not the full picture. There was some that knew absolutely from the top to the bottom, from the inside out, what they were getting themselves into, and they did so willingly. So the universe is fair in meeting everyone where they are, but how you get to be fair in the advancement of yourself, particularly of a spiritual nature, is to alchemize that enlightenment to be force fuel to ascend and transcend the trauma that you may be receptive of, or may have even contributed to. And for most of us, it's a little bit of both at some point in time in our lives, right? Yeah, here's the work on yourself. Wow. To evade limitations such as this, where you're exclusively confined to your lower nature, not balanced within it, not, being aware of, like I said, your traumas, your pitfalls, your triggers, your the level of toxicity that you are susceptible to, maybe even addicted to in some ways, like whatever it is, even fear itself, which is, the root of which everything lower vibrational kind of stems from. It pretty much all starts from that place. And it's like really putting in the work on yourself to advance yourself beyond this fray, whatever it takes. And a lot of times you don't even know how low you can go until you go there, until you are caught up in something or entangled in something or a victim of something, vulnerable to something, a perpetrator of something, whatever it is. You don't know your light, your dark, your polarities, your dualities until they've been projected to you by person, by circumstance, by surroundings, by experience. You don't know. But once you know, then you're responsible for that information and for that enlightenment. And there's no excuse otherwise. That hell, you may still be hard up to find a good excuse before you knew, because there still may be retribution to pay, like I said, because there's a knowing intellectually, mentally, which we all sometimes just don't know. But there's usually always a spiritual knowing, an emotional intelligence, an intuition, of which I feel we all are born with in some capacity, that from childhood you kind of have that inclination within you when something just doesn't feel right, even if you haven't been taught that it isn't right. And we're groomed as we mature to lean more into that frequency than not. You know, by spiritual standards, of course, the world projects that it's untrustworthy to lean on that enlightenment because it wants to manipulate you in the darker frequency for you to be told what you should feel or what your feelings mean or how you may be misguided or wrong, or you know that whole gamut. But the point is when you're intentional about putting this energy or keeping this energy in its proper place, you kind of keep yourself out of sticky situations, i.e. possessions and obsessions. That's actually what that is, against that obsession energy or possession energy that ultimately herds you into doing things that are dishonorable and unfavorable. You're better than that. On your best day, you're better than that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there. I think it's really something interesting about that, the Oz, the Wiz correlation. Something about that there that I'll probably tap into for the title more than I actually did in the message. But you're not just a sheep. You're not just being herded with the masses. That's not the destiny for you if you don't choose for it to be so. So I guess generally just be mindful of what you are willingly engaging, investing, co-creating your energy with at this time. People, places, and things. Because the majority, the masses, are not at this time moving in a sovereign or autonomous frequency willingly. And those that are, there's even more of a resistance, a pushback to try to put you back in a place where you feel like you can't trust that now more than ever, so that you won't be an example for those that feel more comfortable in social acceptance or societal acceptance than as an independent spirit. So you just got to keep leading the charge in that unique way that you feel called to do so, keeping your head down, working on the things that enliven you no matter what the pushback may be, and just keep your nose clean, literally, of any influences that want to pull you into some herd mentality that doesn't even really feel right or align with your true spiritual nature. You know the difference. You do. And it's okay to keep your swords up against anything that looks like that's what is given. All right, I think I'm done. All right, happy Monday. Hopefully I can get this posted today, but if not, and it's June 11th, happy Tuesday. Here you go, you're welcome. Look forward to another one later today, most likely. Thank you for listening and watching. As always, until next time, I leave you with peace.